Good morning, everyone. I welcome you to the Thursday, November 6th, 2025 City of Tumwater Public Works Committee meeting. And today I have with me Councilmember Jefferson and myself, Councilmember Swarthout. Councilmember Althauser is excused. First order of business we have is approval of the minutes from the October 23rd, 2025 meeting. A motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving on. I probably should ask if any changes to the agenda. I always forget that part, guys. Is there anything? So Brandon's on. No changes to the agenda, sir?
There are no changes.
Okay. All right. So the first thing that we have today is our land license with EarthScope Consortium Incorporated for a GPS station at Tumwater Hill Park. Take it away, Chuck Denny. This is exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. What I hope is a very straightforward, no-cost land lease. After the 2007 earthquake in Washington, we were approached by the USGS to install a monitoring station on Tumwater Hill. And I don't know if I can share screen. Can you see that? No, I don't think I can.
Yeah, not yet.
So I don't know if you're aware, but the top of Tumwater Hill, or Tumwater Hill Park, is the bedrock there is almost on the surface of the ground. So next to the baseball field, you can actually see rock, and that rock just goes down forever. So they thought that was a perfect site to install a monitoring station after the earthquake, so that we could measure what's happening in the future. And it's not we think of earthquakes and the seismic number that comes from how strong an earthquake is. It's not, this station is not that. This station monitors ground shifts over time. So it helps them to determine if the ground is moving and how much it's moving, and hopefully help them predict future quakes, or at least the possibility of future quakes. And then if an earthquake does happen, they can measure how much the ground shifted. So they spent about 2 days with a drill rig, and they drilled straight down into the bedrock by Tumwater Hill Park, and they installed this station, which is basically a rod that goes into the ground with a GPS unit on top of it, and a solar panel with a control unit. So it's a very small footprint that this thing has. It's been there for about 10 years. And their lease is up, so this is a lease to renew that, so they can continue to monitor from Tumwater Hill for the next 10 years. So my ask today is that the Public Works Committee approve the mayor's signature on a new lease with EarthScope Consortium, who works with USGS, and place this item on the consent calendar for recommendation to approve and for the mayor to sign. So if you have any questions about that, I would be happy to answer.
Okay.
I do have a question.
Okay, Councilmember.
Yes, where's the main monitoring station for this at, just for my knowledge?
You know, I don't know that. I don't know where it reports to. It's not in Washington State, I can tell you that. But I can find out.
Okay, just for my knowledge, but pretty basic, simple thing to do.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was up there already, so but that makes sense. So, all right. Well, again, this is pretty simple. We're going to be extending the project here. So I'll go ahead. I can read again. So we do have a recommended action to place the land license with EarthScope Consortium Incorporated for the GPS station at Tumwater Hill Park on the November 18th, 2025 City Council consent calendar, with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
So moved. This is Angela.
I'll second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Denny. You're away for the day. Thank you. All right. Okay, now moving on to our second item on the agenda, we have a supplemental agreement with SCJ Alliance for the I-5 and SR 121-93rd Avenue Southeast Interchange Improvement Study Agreement Amendment number 1.
So good morning. I'm Jeff Cook. It says Joe Norman on there, but I'll be taking this project over from now. So we thought Well, this might be a good time to introduce myself more to the committee. As Deputy Director of TED, I've been here a couple of months. This is a pretty straightforward, I'd call it administrative contract change. We have an agreement with SCJ to do the corridor study down on 93rd and I-5. Basically, the key subject matter expert with SCJ left that company and went to another one, but they're in good standing companies. So this restructures allows the agreement to basically extend that out, add them back in. It's a no cost change. It keeps the same team that the city hired to be delivering this study. And that we're asking to put on consent agenda to sign this extension into it as presented in the agenda.
All right. Again, I looked through it as well. Councilmember Jefferson, do you have any questions for Jeff on this one?
No questions for Jeff, pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I did look through the contract and see that the numbers are even, everything adds up, and so it's just a matter of switching right from the.
Yes. Yeah. It's just
If
bringing in a new sub-consultant and having all the agreed rates and everything.
Mhm.
So it's all just locked in the way it should be.
Correct. Yeah, so in our packet, it shows the changes there, so, all right. Pretty straightforward. This is gonna be a fast meeting, you guys. Goodness, you went out of here at 8:15. Okie dokie. All right. Well, with that, since it's pretty straightforward, we'll go, I have a recommended action here to place the supplemental agreement number 1 with SCJ Alliance for the I-5 and SR 121 93rd Avenue Southeast Interchange Improvement Study Project on the November 18th, 2025 City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
So moved. This is Angela.
I'll second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
first shot across the plate. All right. All right, next one up. We have a service provider agreement with Sargent Engineers for on-call engineering services, amendment number 1.
Yes, good morning, council members. Can you hear me?
Yep. good
Loud
morning.
and clear.
Apologize, I'm having some technical difficulties on my end with the presentation, so I apologize. I'll be presentationless this morning. However, this is a pretty simple, pretty straightforward agreement. We have an existing on-call with Sargent Engineers that was originally signed for $40,000. And this agreement we'd like to extend through December 21st, 2026, and increase the not to exceed amount to $140,000 to cover structural engineering services for ongoing construction and bridge maintenance projects through 2026. Anybody have any questions based on what was presented in the submitted?
No, so these are the same cost, right? Just an extension.
It's an extension and also an increase to the not to exceed amount. The original was $40,000, and we're essentially adding $100,000 for the next year for anticipated services.
Okay.
And so will we see those later if there's projects, then will we see those later if there's, as far as contracts go, will they be projects that will come before the committee later then? Is that what?
That's a good question. I don't expect that to be the case. I'll have to do a little more digging on that, but I believe most of those on-call projects can move forward without.
Okay, I was wondering if they fell in the threshold, and the Administrator Parks is here, so.
Yeah, that's,
Go ahead.
yeah, that's the purpose and intent of on-call engineering contracts, particularly, or any other professional services, is that it gives it's really for those unanticipated things that come up on more of an operational basis. So, for example, I believe Sargent Engineers, they do our bridge inspections. Is that correct, Ryan?
That is correct. Yes.
Yeah. So as we have a need arise over the course of the next calendar year, we have the opportunity to hire them, and you're basically, the council is authorizing us to use them for the work that's described in their contract up to the maximum amount. And typically that does happen through a task order or work order process. So it's not like we're asking them to do something without an understanding of what it's going to cost. So we are still actively managing those contracts for costs and those types of things, but they generally are to cover projects that don't necessarily end up coming in front of council for individual approvals.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification. That's what I thought, but I just want to be sure for the record. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You bet.
Appreciate that. All right, again, another simple one. You guys are aiming for 8:15 this morning. Woof. All right, so we do have a recommended action. If there are any questions, we have a recommended action before us to place the service provider agreement with Sargent Engineers for on-call engineering services. Amendment number 1 on the city council consent calendar on November 18th, 2025, with the recommendation for the mayor to sign.
So moved, Angela.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, Ryan, thank you so much.
Thank you, council members.
Okay, now I'm moving on to the last one we have on our agenda is another service provider agreement with Stantec for the Pioneer Park Restoration Project Amendment 4.
Yes, good morning. Can everybody hear me?
Morning,
Yes.
Grant.
Good
Haven't
to
seen
see
you
you
for a while.
both. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen here. Give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek on the presentation. And let's see. Can everybody see that? Let me go to
Yes.
Yeah, we've got your slides on the side.
Yeah, let me see if I can get to presentation mode here. There we go. How does that look?
So slides.
Still slides.
There you
Okay.
go. There you go.
Okay. Takes a minute for it to think here. Okay. So, and there's my title slide. So yes, so I'm presenting today on the Phase 1 Pioneer Park Sediment Reduction Project, also known as the Pioneer Park Restoration Project. We've realigned the title with the intended purpose. So basically, this is in alignment with our Water Quality Grant Final Assistance Agreement 00092. There is another grant which we're moving forward with in the coming years. This particular grant cycle is coming to a close. And basically, I know we're all very aware of this project, but for public purposes, the whole intention of this project is to reduce sediment load from the Deschutes River. This project location is Pioneer Park, and the intended need is specifically associated with the TMDL requirement. So we want to reduce fine sediment loading by 46% and increase shade cover by over 50%. So just to remind everybody, that's the whole purpose of the project.
Grant, I have a question for you.
Yes.
So we're looking at returning to the estuary. So what would this have to do in the future? Do we still have to do this? Reduce the sediment if we just return back to the estuary when we do?
Yeah, sediment is always going to be a challenge for us, with respect to the Deschutes River. Not to go down a rabbit hole, but if you look at the overall health of the Deschutes River, we have a lot of issues all up and down the watershed from the upper to mid to lower portion. The city of Tumwater is doing everything in its power to, address sediment loads. And it's caused by bank erosion primarily. And, that's because we've pretty much developed all the way up to the edges of our banks, or we have impacts from human activities that have either channelized or not allowed the river to do what it should do. Either way, the river dumps, roughly 35,000 cubic yards of sediment into right now Capitol Lake. What's going to happen, basically, that's going to continue over time until we really address the riparian restoration efforts all up and down the watershed. And, RIA 13 lead entity, which is a salmon recovery focused initiative, as well as hopefully the future Watershed Council that we're hoping to see come to fruition, will start to really address the issues within the entire watershed. But I will tell you that there's a lot of work going on right now by the stakeholders, and that's all of the agencies, the tribes, the jurisdictions, to really address some of the priority issues. And some of those priority issues draw directly to the TMDL problems that we have. So I think this is always going to be a challenge for Butt Inlet, and I know that the city and its stakeholders are looking at how to address the maintenance needs associated with dredging down in Butt Inlet. That's a whole whole nother animal, but yeah, I mean, nature's going to do its thing at the end of the day. Yeah.
Okay, good explanation. Thanks, Grant. I just wanted to know.
Oh, you bet. Yeah, no, it's fascinating to watch Mother Nature take charge in many instances. So, but this is this slide just again depicts the area of impact for the phase 1 and phase 2 project. Again, this is phase 1, which focuses on the riparian work, which includes rechannelization and some adding some ditches to basically address drainage throughout this area, as well as riparian restoration to shore up some of the loose sedimentation that we continue to finding its way into the river. So we're nearing the end of phase 1, which is exciting. So Amendment 4 allocates existing funds within the phase 1 budget cycle to include 2 additional tasks that were not originally scoped. Those 2 tasks include a detailed tree survey that encompasses the project action area for the purposes of meeting the City of Tumwater's tree ordinance. And the other one is to conduct a biological assessment to meet the requirements for the Endangered Species Act. Those 2 items probably were not originally scoped because our tree ordinance has been updated since the original contract was introduced. And the biological assessment really serves 2 purposes. It addresses mostly phase 2 in-water impacts, but because ESA extends into the riparian zone for essential habitat for fish, really it applies to phase 1 as well. So we were basically told we really needed to get this done in order to complete the environmental permitting packets for both phases. So basically the funding mechanism for this still incorporates into the initial funding for phase 1. So basically we're adding 48,000 here. Let me move can't see what we're adding 48,417 to phase 1 task for a total of 442,401 under the 450,781.50 projected total. So we're still within our budget for phase 1, which is a good thing. So the recommended action here is to place the Amendment 4, the service provider agreement with Stantec for the Pioneer Park Restoration Project, or I should say Sediment Reduction Project, on the November 18th, 2025 City Council consent calendar, with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign. Any questions?
Okay. Councilmember Jefferson, you asked some questions. Oh.
No questions for Grant.
Okay.
My only question is, do we have a plan as far as at this point when this work will be scheduled to be completed then, or we're looking at the spring, or what schedule? Go ahead.
Yeah. We're reaching that point finally after a long time coming. So the approach to this project is to get phase 1 permitting in, which again addresses all the work within that riparian buffer. That will be we're moving into 100% PSNE and 100% submittal of our permitting applications to all of the agencies. That should happen in the next couple weeks. This first round of permitting actually should not take too long. So the expected time to begin this project would be sometime towards the end of the summer, in the driest part of the summer, and then initiate the start of the restoration plan, like mainly planting our plants in the fall. That's the goal. We do have fish windows that we're competing with, so that's going to dictate some of the phasing or construction sequencing. And then while that's happening, obviously we're continuing to move forward with phase 2 in water work design, which is at 60% right now. Both of these phases, phase 1 and phase 2, are in full review by all of the stakeholders. So that includes representatives from the city, representatives from the tribe, folks, basically that have been involved, which is really the whole RIA stakeholder group. So yeah, we're bringing everybody along, and phase 2 will move forward with permitting this year. We'll be able to submit those permit packets. That one's going to be a little bit lengthier because we are proposing in-water work, which brings the Corps of Engineers review process into that. And that typically has a 1 to 2 year review process. So the goal hopefully is to get phase 2 constructed in 2027.
Time making. I know you've told us before, but I take copious notes. So
Yes,
to remind
no
me
worries.
later. So people ask me later. It's such an exciting project. So I know we've been working on this for a long time. So, but I appreciate the update on that. So a reminder of where we're headed. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we passed the 8:15. Sorry, Graham, we didn't make the we're at 8:20 now, so we're going for a record here. All right, so we do have a recommended action before us. As the place amendment 4 of the service provider agreement with Stantec for the Pioneer Park Restoration Project on November 18th, 2025. City Council consent calendar with a recommendation to approve and authorize the mayor to sign.
And I second that motion.
Okay. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, so city administrator, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, before you sign off in record time, just a
Yes.
heads up. So I mentioned at the council meeting on Tuesday night that we were indeed going to be having our regular business meeting on December 16th. Because of that, we've actually, we were going to come to the Public Works Committee with a very, very long list on your agenda for the 20th of November. But I'm working with the directors, and we're going to get your next 2 meetings, which are probably the final 2 meetings of the year, separated out into reasonable agenda lists. And so there will be a lot of items on the November 20th that will have some pretty substantive conversations, I think, for you. So I would suggest you plan on not getting done by 8:20 or 8:30 on the 20th. And actually on the 4th of December, your list is going to look longer, but it is very much similar to what Ryan did with you today. We've got we have a lot of agreements, service provider agreements that sunset at the end of the year. And there are many of those that we just need to continue for more time. I think the majority of them are for more time. Some of them may include some dollar amounts, but so we will need to have that December 4th meeting so that we can get some action done before the end of the year. So just a heads up, and just to let you know, we are working to try and level out the workload for you here at the Public Works Committee, so you don't look like, so you aren't afraid of your agenda when it comes out the next time.
Yeah, I was looking at the 20th. It looked kind of ambitious, so I appreciate that you're spreading it out. So, yeah, because we got the comp plan, a couple of big things on there. So, and so the 4th is not an issue. So it looks like you're trying to perhaps not have a meeting on the 18th. Is that what?
Yes, I don't know that we will need a meeting on the 18th, because there won't be we'll have to check and see. It remains possible, I guess. We always like to hold it open as long as possible, but generally speaking, since the council won't be acting beyond the 16th of December, it's not as likely that we would need the 18th.
Okay, no worries. I just want to be sure that we're prepared, that I respect the fact that we've got deadlines and things that need to be approved before the end of the year. So just keeping that in mind. So we're flexible. We are nimble.
Okay.
So, okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right. Well, with that reminder then, we did have, excuse me, I was a horse this morning. So with that, without any additional items on the agenda, then I will call the November 6th, 2025 Public Works Committee meeting adjourned. Have a good day, everyone. See you later.